What's up, everybody? F4LESS ROLLER here again. It's feeding up the young birds. Didn't really get a chance to video record them today, but they're starting to come in the roll. It's starting to mimic the big breaks, which is nice. Feeding them up. Nothing fancy, just wheat Milo. Got a few very super nice looking ones. Muff feet. So this is the side of the family where I haven't really worked with them much. I did fly them out and I noticed that they fly a little bit different. They fly a little bit higher. And they develop just a little bit differently. This is my velocity side. This side tends to have a lot of very good velocity on it. As I said to most of you guys, I don't really chase speed as much. It's not that I don't like it, I do like it. It's just that, you know, I noticed that when you start chasing a certain thing, you kind of lose focus. Sorry, my chicken decided to up here. You kind of lose focus on what you aim for. And I love speed, I do, but I also say speed kills, so it's not a number one thing for me. I think, you know, how somebody once said is, you know, you breed a lot of good birds that roll good and everything, but when it comes down to selecting the 20 best ones, that's where, you know, it takes skills to be able to do that. And to me, speed is great to have. I like it. I just don't put it as number one. You know, I look chemistry. Man, these two right here, they're catching my eye. Off topic here, but these two little red checks have been eye catchers for me. There's something about them. Just love the way they, characteristic wise, just love the way they handle. They just feel good in the hand, and I just like their character. But yeah, guys, you know, like I just don't really chase the speed. There's certain birds that, you know, they drop right away when they come in a roll, and then there's certain birds that take a while to come in, or basically roll so fast they barely drop. And I've talked about this in competition. What I'm starting to realize is that those fast birds that don't barely drop, you know, they don't give you a lot of depth. So to me, an above average roll is what I look for competition wise. If I do get a super fast one, I usually will just keep that for myself, and, you know, I'll fly for friends, but I don't necessarily care to fly for competition, because those super fast birds are not going to give you a lot of multipliers, and so I don't really aim for it. And I know some people are going to bash me on that, you know, because the velocity is the reason why the roller stands out. I get it, guys, I get it. I'm just saying that when it's too much and the bird looks like it's barely dropping, you're not going to get depth quality for, you know, points for depth. So You know, that's all I'm trying to point out. And I noticed that like if you start putting those type of birds in competition, you start to see a big difference in the way and you fly. And not only that, but you start to lose motivation because, you know, you can put up the fastest kit anybody's ever seen, but if they're barely dropping, you know, you're not going to get multipliers for it. And sometimes I see it that some people, they lose motivation because of that. At least I'm talking about a 20 bird. And the 11 bird, of course, you got a speed, right? So that's why I think the 11 is great for certain guys to fly in. I know that a lot of people start thinking about individualism, but 11 bird can still work as a team, guys. But if you have 11 super fast birds, I mean, that is going to be something to enjoy for sure, without a doubt. So, you know, like if you got the speed and you like speed and that's what you're after and that's the number one thing you're aiming for, I think the 11 bird is going to be a great opportunity for it because you're going to get that speed point. But when you're flying the 20 bird and you don't get it, you know, it doesn't really make sense to fly those super high velocity birds. This kid is showing a lot of speed. You know, we just did the classic fly, and I was riding. John Elton was the judge, and he was with me. And we were talking about those birds that just look like they glitch in the sky. And these birds are starting to show those traits. And we were talking about how they were flipped so fast, you're kind of like, whoa, what was that? You know? And he was talking to me that usually those birds that flip super fast like that tend to be his fastest birds. And I do agree with that. On this family, I do see that. You know, and I'm looking forward to a few of these birds. What they're showing me so far. This little black right here is showing me a lot of speed. But the thing about him is that he can't stay in the air too long. But being that they're so young, and it goes back, guys. I don't know if you believe this, but I feel like as young birds, sometimes their bodies just can't handle the role just yet. So like your birds that you normally call, you know, like if you're patient with them, they might turn out good. I know a lot of guys are not going to agree with me on that, but I had a blue check that kept, you know, blowing her blood vessel in her eyes. And I know this is a gray area for a lot of guys. And a lot of guys say it's trait. I believe if you breed from it and you see it in the youngs, then yes, it could be a genetic trait. But if it randomly shows up, you know, you got to take it an individual case by case, you know. At least that's how I do it. But as a young bird, it was a super fast bird. And without a doubt, I knew one day it's going to blow blood in its eye, and it did. And, you know, I put it away, rested it up for a few weeks, put it back up, and kept doing that. And it kept blowing the blood vessel again. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, this bird is too young. I mean, this bird is only like 3-4 months old. And it's rolling super hard, super fast. And the way it's going, you know it's going to have accidents. The body's still maturing. And I watch my kids, right? For example, my son, you know, whenever he has a growth spurt, he start tripping all over. I mean, you watch him walk and you're like, this kid's got good balance, but then out of the blue he's tripping all over the place, and it's like, what the heck is going on? And it's just a growth spurt. And I kind of feel like birds kind of have to go through that too. And so I kind of kept an eye on this bird for a while, and eventually she hit that 6 months, 8 month, and she's rolling great and no longer blowing any blood vessels in her eyes. She's still working just as hard, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you do with such a bird, right? Like, what do you do with it? Because that's such a taboo thing, you put it away because people think it's genetic. But I haven't bred out of birds that blow blood in their eyes. It's not, like, again, that's not what the traits that I look for. I don't look for speed. I don't chase for speed. But if she had the style, and she does have the style, this one, she does have the style that I'm looking for. So she's probably going to be one that I'm going to try out. But like I said, what do you do with such a bird? I mean, as a young bird, you know, she's blowing her blood vessels. But as an old bird, she's not blowing her blood vessels. And I feel like the body's still growing. So, you know, like, do you put it as a flaw, as a trait, as a flaw, or how do you handle that? I mean, I don't know, right? What's right? What's wrong? I kind of feel like, you know, if you work with your birds long enough, you kind of realize that, you know, almost every bird has made a mistake in their lifetime. Very, very few that you get that's like a perfect bird from start day one, you know. There are some, but very, very few that makes it all the way through. And so, I don't know, guys. Show me, you know, like, comment down what you guys think about it. I mean, as I'm in the hobby for this many years, I'm starting to realize if you're just patient, don't be so quick to judge, don't be so quick to call. Don't get me wrong, there are birds that do need to be called. I'm just saying, like, if a bird is kidding perfect and it has one thing that's going on with it, I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, once you put it away, you're going to see it again. I've had guys who breed roll downs from their loft and they do fine. Would I ever do it? No, I would never probably do it myself because I don't think I need to roll that bad. I think the birds already have the roll, so I would probably never do that. But, you know, just kind of an example. And I don't know, guys. Like I said, sometimes I feel like you kind of have to take a step, a leap of faith, you know? And if you feel like the bird's doing what you need and it just has one accident, I feel like, you know, you can work with it. But I don't know. I haven't really put anything extraordinary or different away yet, but I've been thinking about that hen, and I do want to give her a shot. So she might be one where I will be taking notes on her, and I will be following her closely to see how her youngs will do. And yeah, maybe it is genetic, you know, you never know. But I feel like until it's genetic, like you start stocking more and more of it, you know, then maybe it could become a genetic issue, a genetic fault. But for me, I just feel like when it pops up randomly, you got to treat it like a case by case. You can't be like, oh, you know, I had one that did this already, so that means it's going to be this. So, but yeah, guys, sorry for babbling on, just kind of putting it out there, you know, like speed's not one that I chase super hard on. And maybe it might change after this kid matures. I might just have a totally new view of things. because before, when I bred this side of the family, I was flying in the city and I was losing a ton of them to the hawks. So I never really got to see how they matured out or how they turned out to be. But I did see a few that came very close to a blur. And I don't really say the word blur much because I think people use it lightly. In my whole pigeon career, I've only bred 3. So, and those birds that stay in one spot before they drop, I don't even consider those blur yet. So, I hold that word up very high with the standard, real high. I mean, if somebody's got one, I'm always willing to, come check it out and see for myself and see if that's what I would consider a blur. I've always said, I'm curious to see it again. And I know there's a few guys out there that know how to do that, but I haven't fully chased it. I haven't fully commit to it, but we will see. I do look forward to this kid. I hope this kid really cranks it up. It'll be nice to showcase the speed on this side of the family. So far, no burst eye vessels or whatnot, but man, that little black right there, that little black is gonna be a super duper bird. If that bird can stay up and stay consistent with them, I think that bird might be something worthy to look at. And we'll see guys. But yeah, just babbling on. And if you guys just want to also say, Friday is a day that I will be doing my drawing. If you want to be entered in, please go look for the video that says first drawing after it says F4LESS ROLLERS LOFT. It'll say first drawing. It'll have green letters on it. That will be the video that I will base the entry people from. I did do one in April of 2024 when I wanted to do the first time drawing. That did not happen. I will refer back to some of the guys there, but if you have followed me, go comment on the one that was just recently done here so you get easier and I don't miss you. I know some guys are responding both videos, which is great, but I need you guys to redo it again in case I miss somebody. I'm just gonna skim through the other one, but I'm not gonna promise that I won't miss you or not. But the drawing will be this coming Friday. The 4 birds are ready to go. They're looking nice and healthy, and I cannot wait to see how they would do for your program or with your kit. Hope all goes well. But again, this is just for the people here in the US. I'm sorry to all my other followers. I never ship birds out of the country, and I don't know if I ever will, but I'm just doing this to give back and bless somebody with some birds that I think would help them. But yeah, all right guys, F4LESS Roller, we out.